those consequences would be. The third thing is, whatever we want in our dunya, right? So we want to go to work so that I can have money, right? Why do I need to have money?
For provision for family.
Okay, for family.
Livelihood.
Okay, but what if there is no family, right? Who controls the life of the family?
God.
Right? And who controls our health or sickness? If we get sick, we spend money on medicine, or we can't go to work, we lose on some cash or some cash flow, right? Sometimes depending on our work arrangement, right? If we have a family, then who controls the love between husband and wife, right? Then if we want to think about kids, who control the quality of kids we will have? So you may have no kids, or you may have one kid where it's like, it's a pain, right? Or you may have an amazing kid who's so blessed, he's a comfort of your eyes, he makes you happy, or she makes you happy, does great thing, right? So all this there's a lot of things that are so hidden, right? Where you are, knowing the right person, being in the right moment, having the right ideas, where do they all come from? So if you think about, in the short term, I'm thinking if I go to work, I'm gonna get my paycheck, boom, right? But if you think about the bigger picture, there's so much stuff that happens behind the scene, and Allah is fully in charge of everything. So us talking like that, reflecting like that, so that's what I was saying, it's important for us to either be reading Qur'an or attending a lecture or reflecting on it, so it becomes like, I hope, like for me now, I'm super motivated to, to not disobey Allah, right? Because sometimes we just in autopilot mode, and I'm thinking, okay, 2 + 2 = 4, and we forgot Allah and the power of Allah from the equation at all. Right? So I think, us thinking about it, you thinking about it, you reading about it, will actually help you, motivate you to pray 5 times a day. And that's the greatest responsibility we have every day. Because today, we don't have to fast. Is it obligatory to fast today?
No.
But the main responsibility is 5 prayers a day. Then, your responsibility towards your family, you want to make sure that they don't have to beg, they don't have to go to welfare, they don't have to do this. So you want to make sure that you are taking care of their food, their rent, so on and so forth. Okay? But the fundamental responsibility is these meetings with Allah will help you with those goals of money and finance and so on and so forth, right? Another way to encourage to actually help is what I was suggesting to another brother. If you guys go on sunnah.com, and I will put a link in the video description for those who are watching online. So let's check it out. Go to sunnah.com, sunnah.com. Okay, my phone shut down. Right? So, let me see in your phone. So if you go here, right? And then see, there's a very good book, amazing book. It's called Riyadus Salihin. So I'm going to bookmark that for you. And it's basically translated as a garden of the righteous people. Right? So let me bookmark that for you. So what you can do is that if you read the first chapter, it will actually start talking about intention. Then we'll start talking about the rewards of prayer, the punishment of prayer, not the punishment of missing prayer, and so on and so forth. Okay? So if you, for example, click here, click on find or search. What is that? Find in page. So find in page, and then you search for prayer. See, you came here, right? And then now, close this and start reading this thing. Look, the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, you read it. So see, you need motivation, you go to see what did the Messenger of Allah told me about prayer.
So the Messenger of Allah said, the reward for salat performed by a person in congregation is more than 20 times greater than that of salat performed in one house or shop. When one performs wudu perfectly and then proceed to the mosque with the sole intention of performing salat, then for every step it takes toward the mosque is upgraded 1 degree in reward, and one of its sins is eliminated until he enters the mosque. That's nice.
See, so now you get motivated, right? Because otherwise, like when
what was that point?
That's if you actually go when you pray and your intention to go to the mosque, you actually eliminate 1 sin once you actually get the intention of praying. So that's a good point though. I like that.
Right? So this motivates us, right? So what happens when we're at home, we turn on the TV or magazine or, phone, whatever, because somebody would show us like a nice flashy car, you know, like, oh man, I wish I had that car, right? Somebody may, flash a women on our face, right? Or, show us like, a nice apartment, nice condominium, right? So on and so forth. So just by seeing those things, we get the desire for that, right? There's nothing wrong with acquiring those things, by the way, right? But then we think, okay, how do I get it? By paying, or they'll say, oh, get this MasterCard, get this Visa card, TD bank account, investment, whatever. They'll always try to push something with that. But so this content, we have to take ourselves to the content that is beneficial for us. Okay, so anyways, now let's read the verse. So I think it was 68:34 I mentioned, my phone died. Okay. Right. Yeah. So it's verse number 34. Okay. So Mukhtar, you want to recite that? Inna lil muttaqina inda rabbihim jannatin na'im.
Say it, sir.
Inna lil muttaqina inda rabbihim jannatin na'im.
Where? What surah?
That's 34. That's Al-Qalam.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إن للمتقين عند ربهم جنات النعيم أفنجعل المسلمين كالمجرمين ما لكم كيف تحكمون أم لكم كتاب فيه تدرسون إن لكم فيه لما تخيرون أم لكم أيمان علينا بالغة إلى يوم القيامة إن لكم لما تحكمون سلهم أيهم بذلك زعيم.
That's good, inshallah. Okay, good. So let's read the translation for that.
Okay, verily for the
Louder.
what's this?
Okay, so that's Arabic word, muttaqun, and then so it says pious and righteous person.
Okay. Verily for the muttaqun, pious and righteous person, CV 2/2, are guardians of the light, paradise with your Lord. Shall we then treat the submitting Muslims like the
Mujrimeen, which are
mujrimeen, criminal, politics, and disbelievers? What is the matter with you? I'll judge you. Or have you a book through which that you shall have all that you choose? Or you have hopes from us, reaching to the day of resurrection, that yours will be what you judge. Ask them, which of them will stand surety for that?
Good. So think about this, right? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is clearly saying that, look, so first of all, Allah says what? First thing, Allah says the one who are pious, Allah is promising them what? Gardens of delight. So that's a promise from Allah, right? Because at the end of the day, if you think about it, people want to retire, right? I want to have enough money in my bank, RSP, 401, whatever, so I can retire, I can relax, I can go on an island, take a boat, live there, correct? That's what people want, right? And then some people would say, okay, do I have enough money for my family, right? So do I have enough for my child's education? If I do, I'm just going to retire and relax, right? Yes, there is retirement, and there's a retirement without old age. And that is where? In paradise. And that Allah is promising for whom? People who are righteous, right? So not people who are haughty, naughty, arrogant, doing whatever their soul pleases, chasing their own desires, but people who actually know that I'm a servant of Allah, my first and foremost obligation is towards Allah, and then everything else kicks in, right? So Allah first of all promises us, and then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asks a question, that will Allah treat the one who is submitting to Allah like the one who is a disbeliever, a criminal? How can it be from the justice of Allah that both of them are treated? Right? And then I say, okay, if that's not the case, do you have a book? Do you have any contract? Do you have any promise, any agreement that says otherwise? How are you judging? How blindly are you guys walking and doing whatever you like to do? Based on what? Who is the guarantor for that? Right? Do they have a guarantor? And do they have a choice? Is it the case that they can choose whoever goes to paradise, whoever goes to hellfire? That's not the case, right? So we have to show it by our action, because lip service is easy. So first and foremost, the point now becomes is how can I make my 5 daily prayers? Whether I need to wake up early, squeeze something, do whatever I need to do, and get that done, right? And that is actually a practical thing, because sometimes, even if you think about it, that's a good test, right? So, because sometimes you may say, okay, I really, really love Allah, but how do I really know, right? It's these tests that show us that, look, is my prayer important or my sleep important?
Obedience.
Right? Obedience, submission. So that's something I would say. So reflecting like that, looking at the Messenger of Allah, what he said about specific topics. So whatever we are thinking about. So if you are sad, in that book you'll find narrations about sadness, grief, anxiety, depression. What did so it's a great thing actually now, because we cannot go and have a call with the Messenger of Allah, right? We cannot talk to him, but Allah has preserved how he directed, how he guided, how he trained his companions, and we have access to that. That's beautiful, right? So that's one way of accessing it, because it's sorted out by topic.
Yeah.
Likewise, if you open like a physical book, we can give you a translation, and you open it up, you go at the back of it, index, and you say, okay, I want to look at verses about prayers, salah. I want something to motivate me. Boom, you can go to that index, get to that verse, right? Or if you want, or you can also search in the app or online. If you want to go to the verses of patience, boom, you can go there. If you want to search the verses of doubts, disbelievers.
It's all at sunnah.com?
Yeah, no, so Sunnah.com is the compilation of hadith. So what I'm recommending, Sunnah.com, and especially the book called Riyadus Salihin, The Gardens of the Righteous People.
Okay.
Okay, so with this we'll end, but it's a very important thing we need to think about at the end of the day, how many prayers did I pray? And I sent a video yesterday about a brother he's a convert himself, made a very beautiful video of how throughout his day Shaitan was distracting him from one prayer to the other, to the other, to the other, right? So inshallah I'll conclude here, and stop the video please.